Piers Plowman by William Langland. Passus 4. "Stop it," said the king. "I'll stand for this no longer. You shall settle your dispute, I say, and serve me both." "Kiss her," said the king. "Conscience, I command you." "No, by Christ," said Conscience, "you can banish me from court, unless reason recommends it. I will rather die." "And I command you," said the king to Conscience then, "ride off right now and bring reason here. Command him to come and consult on this affair, for he shall rule my realm and direct me what's best about mead and other matters. What man shall wed her? And account with you, Conscience, so Christ help me, how you lead my liegemen, learned and unlearned." "I am glad of that agreement," Conscience gave answer, and went straight away to Reason, and whispered in his ear, told him what the king intended, and then took his leave. "I'll get ready to ride," said Reason. "Rest for a while," and called Cato his servant, courteous of speech, and also Tom Truetongue, tell me no tales, nor lies to laugh at, for I loved them never. "Set my saddle upon suffer till I see my time, and get him well girded with girths of wit. Hang the heavy bridle on him to hold his head low, for he will whinny wee-hee twice before we get there. Then Conscience on his colt canters forth fast, and Reason rides with him, reckoning together what machinations mead makes on this earth. One Warren Wisdom and Witty, his fellow, followed them fast, for they had business in the exchequer and in chancery, to be discharged of suits, and they ride fast because Reason could direct them the best how to save themselves from shame and harms. But Conscience was well acquainted with them. They loved covetousness, and bade Reason ride fast and reckon with neither. There are wiles in the world, and with mead is their home. Where wrath and wrangling are, there they rake in silver. But where love and loot are, they don't like to come. Grief and unhappiness in their ways, etc. They give no respect to good faith. God knows the truth. The fear of God is not before their eyes, etc. For they do more for a dinner or a dozen capons than for the love of our Lord and all his beloved saints. Therefore, Reason, let them ride, those rich men, by themselves, for they have no care for Conscience or Christ, as I think. Then Reason took the high road, riding fast as Conscience counselled him, till they came to the king. Courteously the king then came to meet Reason, and between himself and his son set him on the bench, and they exchanged wise words a long while together. Then came Peace into the parliament, and presented a plea, how, regardless of his resistance, wrong had seized his wife, and how he ravished Rose, Reginald's widow, and Margaret of her maidenhead, no matter how she struggled. "Both my fowls and my pharaohs fall prey to his followers. I don't dare, for fear of him, fight or complain. He borrowed Bayard from me, and never brought him back, and I got no farthing for him for any plea I made. He encourages company to kill my hired hands, preempts what I have to sell, harasses me in my bargaining, breaks down my barn doors, bears away my wheat, and leaves only a tally in return for 10 quarters of oats. And then he beats me to boot and lies by my maid. Because of him, I hardly have the heart to stir. The king knew he was telling truth, for conscience told him so, that Wrong was a wicked wretch who wrought much sorrow. Therefore Wrong grew afraid and felt out wisdom, if he would make peace for him with his pennies. And he proffered him many, and said, If I had the love of my lord the king, little would I care though Peace and his party pled at law forever. When Wisdom and Warren Witty both won money because Wrong had committed so criminal an act, and they went to warn Wrong with this wise advice: Whoever works willfully will often stir up anger. I say it for myself, you'll see it's true. Unless Meade makes amends, mischance will come upon you, for both your life and your land lie in his grace. Whereupon Wrong wooed Wisdom most eagerly to make his peace with his pennies, paid out of handy-dandy, when Wisdom and Wit went together, and led Meade along with them to get leniency for him. Peace put forth his head with his pate all bloodied. Without guilt, God knows, I got this wound. Conscience and the Commons could perceive the truth, but Wisdom and Wit went about trying to overcome the king with cash if they could. The king swore by Christ and by his crown both that Wrong should be punished properly in payment for his deeds, and commanded a constable to cast him in irons. He shall not see his feet once in 7 years. Why, God knows, said Wisdom, that wouldn't be wise. If he may make amends, let Baal manumit him, and put up pledges for his crimes, and purchase recompense. Amend that misdeed, and be evermore the better. Wit agreed with this, and his words advised the same. Better that betterment blot out badness than for badness to be beaten and betterment no better. Then Meade began to humble herself, and asked for mercy, and proffered peace, a present out of pure gold. Have this from me, man, she said, to amend your hurt, for I will warrant well and truly Wrong will do so no more. Then Peace piteously prayed to the king for mercy on that man who misdid him so often. Because he's compensated me well, as Wisdom counseled him, I forgive him his guilt with a good will. So long as you assent, I can say no more. Since Meade has made me amends, I may ask nothing further. No, cried the king, so Christ help me. Wrong will not run off so before the records all before me. If he got off so easily, then all he'd do is laugh, and often be the bolder to beat my servants. Unless reason has ruth on him, he'll remain in the stocks as long as I live, unless lowliness go bail for him. Some people appealed to reason then to have pity on that scoundrel, and to counsel the king that conscience as well, that Meade might be his bailsman. Thus they begged Reason. Don't speak to me, said Reason, of showing any pity, till lords and ladies all love truth, and scorn all scurrility, to speak it or hear it, till Parnell's proud finery is put away in her chest, and the cherishing of children is chastised with rods, and scoundrel sanctity is considered of no value, till clerky covetousness is to clothe and feed the poor, and religious roamers recodarde in their cloisters, as Saint Benedict bade them, Bernard and Francis, and till preachers' preaching is proved on themselves, till the king's counsel is the common prophet, till bishops' bay horses become beggars' chambers, till their hawks and their hounds help to poor religious houses, and till St. James is aught where I shall assign, and no man go to Galatia unless he go forever. And all Rome runners for robbers abroad take no silver overseas that shows the king's sign, neither groats nor gold engraved with king's mark upon forfeiture of those funds if he's found at Dover, unless it's a merchant or his man or a messenger with letters, provisor or priest or penitent for his sins. And yet, said Reason, by the rood, I shall render no mercy while Mead maintains her mastery in the court of law. But I can show examples as I see them here and there. I say it for myself, if it so were that I were king with crown, a kingdom's ruler, no wrong in my realm that I recognized as such should go unpunished in my power, for peril of my soul, nor get my grace with gifts, so God help me, nor have mercy for any meed, unless meekness caused it. For a man named Nullum Malum met with impunitum, and bade nullum bonum be irremuneratum. Let your confessor, Sir King, construe you this in English, and if you put it into practice, I'll pledge my ears that law will be a laborer and load dung onto fields, and love will lead your lands as you like best. Clerks who were confessors conferred together to construe this clause for the king's profit, but not for comfort of the commons or for the king's soul. For I saw Mead in the meeting hall wink at men of law, and, laughing, they leapt to her, and many left Reason. Warren Wisdom winked at Mead, and said, Madam, I am your man. Whatever my mouth blabs, I'm flustered by florins, said that fellow, and my tongue falters often. All righteous people recorded that Reason spoke the truth. Kind wit accorded with this and commended his words, as did most of the people in the palace, and a good part of the great, and agreed that meekness was a master and Mead a cursed slut. Love allowed her of little worth, and lute less, and said it so loud that soothness heard it. Whoever wants her for wife for wealth of her goods, if he doesn't come to be called cuckold, cut off my nose. Mead moped then, and made heavy cheer, because most of the commons in that court called her a whore. But an assizer and a summoner pursued her fast, and a sheriff's clerk cursed one and all. For I have often, he said, helped you at the bar, and yet you never gave me a gift as good as a bean. The king called Conscience and afterward Reason, and recorded that Reason had rightly spoken, and awesomely and angrily he cast his eye on Mead, and his wrath was aroused with law, for Mead had almost ruined it, and he said, Through your law, I believe I lose many reversions. Mead overmasters law, and much obstructs the truth. But reason will reckon with you if I reign for any time, and judge you justly by this day, just as you deserve. Mead shall not make bail for you. By Mary in heaven, I will have lute in law, and let all be your arguing. By the judgment most people here have passed, let punishment fall on wrong. Said Conscience to the king, unless the commons will assent, it's very hard by my head actually to effect this, and to arbitrate equitably for all your liegemen. By him that was crucified on the cross, said Reason to the king, unless I rule your realm thus, rip out my guts, if you bid obedience be of my party. And I assent, said the king, by Saint Mary my lady, let my counsel come of clerks and earls, but Reason, you shall not readily retire from here. As long as I live, I'll not let you go. I'm ready, said Reason, to remain with you always. So long as conscience belongs to your counsel, I care for nothing else. I agree gladly, said the king. God forbid otherwise. As long as I live, let's live together.